Coming up on Up at Noon, we got Alan Tudyk in the studio to talk about Rogue One. Speaking of Rogue One, did you catch the Easter egg on the DVD box? And Lego Legend of Zelda, why isn't that a thing? All that and more right now on Up at Noon Live.
Hey! We're here again. It is another week, and they have not killed us yet, which is really kind of just true for anybody, regardless of whether or not you host a show. I'm Max Scoville. This is Brian Altano, and this is Up at Noon.
Yeah, to be fair, they're not really trying to kill us.
You don't know that. You don't. You can't prove it.
Could be poison in this coffee.
There could be. Anyway, Up at Noon is a weekly variety comedy nonsense show. It's sort of like a I don't know, like a loot crate for your brain. It's a bunch of weird junk food toys and snack nonsense that we like to talk about. This week is a very special episode. We have Alan Tudyk from Star Wars Rogue One. Not here. He was here. We're gonna not show you that live, but we're gonna show you that live. We're live right now.
I don't even know how the sausage is made. We're about to change our clothes, and Alan Tudyk's gonna come in here. We're gonna move some toys around the desk too.
Anyway, for future reference, this is always live Thursdays, noon Pacific time on IGN.com, twitch.tv/IGN, youtube.com/IGN, IGN's Roku, PS4, Apple TV, Xbox One, Nintendo Classic, Android device, Samsung Smart Fridge, and Casio 3160 Drumorama keyboard.
That's right. It's also, if you hold up an old bubble tape dispenser to your ear, you can sometimes hear the sea.
Yeah, we're working on an app that streams directly to Sheikah slates, which is actually bypassing the fact that you can't stream anything on Nintendo Switch just yet. Without further ado, let's take a look at what it's like to hang out with Alan Tudyk. Let's do it.
Do it!
And we're back. We're here with Alan Tudyk. You most recently were K2SO, a lovable, just large robot in Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Yes,
and you've been about dozens of other things. You're like one of those guys who just, you're Alan Tudyk.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've been a lot of things. You play a lot of robots and animals, I noticed.
Welcome to our show. Thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you
This
very
is
much.
exciting.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I've been lucky to sort of do a lot of different things in my career. Yeah, K2SO, my second robot, which is bizarre. I think, I was Sonny and iRobot. They're very different robots.
Yeah.
But a couple of different motion capture roles, which is, I don't know, doing Sonny, I think that's why they first called me. I think.
Okay.
I don't even know. I really should ask. It's past time to have asked.
Which I really loved. You effectively became the comedy relief in this movie.
Yeah, which it needed, because it's a dark story.
Yeah, it is.
But like you're in there cracking jokes, and we saw it. What did we see? Like 3 times opening.
3 times opening
Yeah,
weekend.
and it was cleaning up every time.
We like Star Wars a little bit. It's like on our
Sort of,
clothes
yeah.
and our set.
Yeah.
But like, what was the
It's been
energy?
a long con to get you here.
What was the energy like on set though? Like, were people kind of having fun? Like, we're in a Star Wars movie, or was it still sort of like we got to be sort of intense here, and then you kind of bring levity to the table, or?
Yeah, I guess so. They were doing that intense thing. I don't know. Everybody was having a good time. It's tough. There are tough days on any film where it's raining and it's cold. We did shoot it in London, and you're running through water and things that it's not the most comfortable thing.
Did you ever trip on the funny shoes?
Nobody ever saw me.
Ooh,
That's good.
So
nice.
must have not happened.
Maybe there's going to be just like a grip of deleted scenes on the Blu-ray.
Just you rolling down hills and stuff.
They'd have to animate that too. That'd be really expensive.
That would be great.
It's like
to
$1 billion
watch.
blooper reel.
Yeah, it would only be fun if you saw it animated.
Disney's got those. They got those $10 turkey legs they sell. They can pay for it. So one of the things I really loved. Obviously, did you grow up loving Star Wars?
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard not to, right? But so you grew up with like R2-D2 and C-3PO and very iconic droid characters.
Yes.
But spoilers, this movie's been out for a few months. I'll put it this way, it doesn't really end well for many of the characters involved.
If you haven't seen it yet, what's wrong with you? It's a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, it says Star Wars in the title.
A lot of people haven't. I've met a few, at least around town they're saying, "What are you doing in San Francisco?" And I said, "I'm coming here and talking about the DVDs." And they're like, "Oh, I haven't seen it.
Really?
Just waiting for the digital." Like, why? You see it on the big screen,
Star
but
Wars. What's wrong with you?
But I guess people's screens in their homes are big enough now. They got their own setup. They got their own popcorn.
So where do you think sort of K2SO is going to sit within this, kind of the legacy of Star Wars characters and droids, because there is a finale to him. I mean, that being said, it's Star Wars, so we might get spin-off comics and prequel books and
Right.
you know.
I hope so with all of that. There are so many venues to tell that story. I think, R2-D2, there's a little R2-D2 over there. R2-D2 is great. So I think it's sort of R2-D2, K2, C3PO.
Ooh.
And I say that because Anthony Daniels and I have sort of an ongoing good-natured feud.
I like
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, he after seeing, as I was going to sit at the premiere, I passed him on the aisle, and I had met him before on set. Spoiler alert, he does make a small cameo in the film. And I said, "Oh, hello, good to see you again." He said, "I'm going to give you notes after it's done." That's Anthony.
I love that. That's perfect.
And I said, "Good, wonderful, thank you. Please write them down legibly. I'll see you after." And I saw him after at the party, and he came up, and he gave me a hug, and in my ear said, "You," which was such a good compliment. You can't beat that compliment from C3PO. And I mean, he's a gangster. You don't think of C3PO as a gangster, so I've got to put him beneath K2 just out of respect, because he told me a lot of really nice things too about my performance, and then he said, "And if you tell anyone what I said, I'm going to deny it." He said, "I'm like, but I can tell them the other thing, the FU thing," and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's the thing I want you to share."
There's that story. So is in that list is like BB-8 down at the bottom with his like middle finger lighter up. I don't know what that
FU,
is.
a Star Wars story.
Right, BB-8. BB-8 is beloved. BB-8 is a cute little guy.
Yeah, but he's down there.
He's low. I don't know. I mean, just he's small. I don't know. We've got so many opportunities to get to know BB-8 more.
Have you gotten to see?
You know who's so like I'm K2SO, Anthony Daniels is C3PO. You know who BB-8 is?
It's Bill Hader. J.J. Abrams, right?
In there? In the ball?
In the ball.
There's like a guinea pig in there or something?
Joy Behar.
Oh wow.
Joy Behar. They don't really publicize that.
Just like in a little circle, just rolling around.
her back is killing her. She's dizzy a lot now, but they don't really get into
Now you do the convention circuit now all the time. You've got a show called Comment, which is really cool. Do you think you're going to get to see people? Have you seen people already in K2SO cosplay? Like, how does that work?
Not yet. There is like a costume you can buy that's pretty basic with a like a mask that you just put on. I don't know, but I'm certain it's going to happen because people are always surprising you, figuring out how to do the cosplay. So I don't know. He's got really spindly legs.
Yeah, you'd have to do like what was that movie? Thinner? Or
Yeah,
like the Machinist?
the Thin Man.
Yeah, you could work like one of those like the Lion King musical costumes, like some weird puppetry, and you're in like a skin tight suit underneath it or something. But
Somebody's going to do it. He's 7'1", 7'2". Gosh, how did I already
80
forget?
pounds.
you get the guy who played Alien. Yeah. No, so Con Man is your show about convention culture,
Yes.
and this is your baby. You and Nathan Fillion kind of got this off the ground with crowdfunding.
Yeah.
And I was reading up on like the process of getting it made, and you had it shot down because it didn't seem like there was enough of a culture or like an audience for this because. The production people we would take it to didn't know the culture. Like you'd sit down, they go, "I went to Comic-Con once." Crazy place. Zany people. And like, well, no, they're sort of the heroes of the world. The character I play doesn't get how well he has it. And so they are the heroes in that way. And they're the one constant. They're the support, which they are. That's been my experience. And then the people who work behind the scenes, the actors, they're all the broken, crazy people.
Right.
And that's where a lot of the comedy comes from.
Do you find yourself working, like, are you just in the convention circuit? 'Cause I know we cover it here, and it's like, they call it convention season, and it starts in January and then ends in December now.
That's called a year.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So do you have to work, do you not have to, but do you choose to elect to work a lot of these, meet a lot of people?
I do. I haven't been to, I went to one in Portland so far since this movie's come out. Surprisingly, in Portland, half of the people I met wanted to meet me because of K2SO, and the other half were still Firefly.
Wow.
That's a hardcore fan base.
It is, and new, new people, because I've met a lot of them. I feel like we
Now, have you seen
keep the children of the...
Yeah, have you seen like convention culture just kind of become more normalized and stuff? Because I mean,
You see a lot of people who aren't necessarily hardcore nerds that just come out to check it out, to put on costumes and have fun. And definitely Comic-Con, the one in San Diego. That is a commercial.
Yeah.
Hollywood lands there.
It's like pop culture music festival kind of thing, you know?
There's a Playboy party.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is a con thing.
Yeah.
Are you on the list at the Playboy party?
It's completely changed, and I think sort of the vision from where it started. And in many ways, that's really cool. And in many ways, it's sort of like this is bigger than I think anyone have ever anticipated.
Yeah, I go there. I go to Nerd HQ, Zach Levi's thing, and and they always raise money there for Operation Smile. So, and everybody comes through there. All the cast come through there, and they raise money, and that's become a really fun thing. Awesome. And that's neat that it has gotten that big. That it's always a great place to catch all those fans at once and make a difference.
So now we get to do a lot of sort of video game coverage at all these shows. Do you get to play video games at all? I know you were like briefly attached to Uncharted 4 and then left. Did you get to check out the finished product? Was that something you were even interested in doing?
Sorry, Nolan North. I have not checked out the finished product. I didn't. Yeah, no. I don't play that game. I always played Halo, and I'm very sad to say. Nathan Fillion was like, "You're not playing Halo anymore. We'll just play 5." And so I went to my store, my GameStop, and said, "Hey, let me get these." And I was like, "Well, wait a second. What is Xbox One?" I'm like, "I have the 360. Same thing, right?" And I'm like, "No, there's a whole new system." I missed the system. I missed the whole system.
I mean, you've been busy. It's okay.
That's just sad. I've got to get it now.
Well, I got bad news. They're going to be putting out another one this year, I think. So
Xbox 2?
It's like, 1.58 or something.
Alan, this is why you got to come over to the PlayStation side because they number them. It's easy. They go like, if you have a 2 and you walk in and you're like, there's a 4 now, you're like, I clearly missed 3.
Right.
So it's lined out right for you.
Well,
actually, no, there's a Pro and a Vita. It gets confusing. Don't listen to me.
The buttons are shapes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what's kept me from PlayStation. I don't want to be touching. I don't know why I don't want to touch triangles.
We should.
I've never heard that. That's a good reason.
It's
just an unusual one.
The next time you're here, we should just sit down and prank call PlayStation and just have you do different voices and yell at them for why the buttons are shapes.
Yeah. I can't stand triangles. This is King Candy. I'm very upset. Make them like a Skittle. I'd like them to be. Can you use Skittles? Yeah, circles.
So yeah, King Candy is your character in Wreck-It Ralph, which
yes.
a lot of people are like, that's a video game movie. People are like, the best video game movie. It's just as much about candy too.
Literally, I think it's. This is a weird thing to say. I married a woman who her favorite movie is Wreck-It Ralph.
Nice.
How weird! It's very weird. Like I hope everything's okay
She's
at home.
13.
She's 13. Right, a 13-year-old. Lock me up.
But you did it in Louisiana, so
yes,
it's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Louisiana.
But yeah, King Candy's in Wreck-It Ralph. It's one of our favorite movies at home. Me and my child bride.
Nice.
Can an episode of the show go by without saying child bride?
I'm trying not to.
It is a good. It is a. I really like how that movie is shaped. It really is one of those movies that feels like it's for adults. Like in the end, it had changed. They morph over time. It was like a 2-year process. And I had done the lines about, you're a glitch, and you're this, and you're that. And then I saw the animation where I'm hitting her with a car antenna.
Yeah.
You're gonna die. Your friends are gonna die. Everybody's gonna die. Like, what? It was like children turned into an insect. Now look, he like grabs Wreck-It Ralph's head, and like, you're gonna watch this little girl die.
He's an incredibly dark character.
Yeah.
Like he's super morbid, and I think the sort of the saccharine prison that he builds is actually it makes it even worse. He's like, I've made a candy jail for my friends in my salmon clothes.
Yes.
It's terrifying.
I like this saccharine world. That's so
now
true.
there is a Wreck-It Ralph 2 on the way. Are you going to be coming back for that, or can you say anything?
I am going. I don't know if I can say. I never know if I can say, but I guess I just said I am going to
See it in theaters when it's out.
There you go.
be
when it's out.
probably a part of it in
Cool.
some fashion or form. Disney's been really cool. I've been in since Wreck-It Ralph. They put me in every one of their movies in some way.
You were. I love that you were in Zootopia as you were a Frozen joke. In there, like that's so great.
And there's even I'm the Duke of who's the Duke of Westleton?
Duke
Duke of Westleton. And everybody says, Duke of Weaselton. Westleton, I'm Duke of Westleton. There's a little old man with the toupee. And then in Zootopia, I'm Duke Weaselton. and his name is Duke, and he's Duke Weaselton.
I love that.
From Queens.
Yeah, he's from Queens. Yeah. And,
By the way,
he's selling knockoff things like black market films before they even came out.
Yep, he's from Queens.
And one of them is because everything gets renamed. It's
like a
Rhino
tangle.
Ralph.
Yeah.
So he's selling Rhino Ralph, and anyway.
That's so
It's very, yeah, the crossovers are awesome.
Yeah, it becomes crazy.
I love that. Are we gonna see another Zootopia sometime soon? Is Zootopia?
Oh, that'd be good.
Zootopia.
You can have that one. You can use that.
Zootopia
Yeah.
too. You guys are killing it. I'm sure.
We love that.
I don't know. They make a lot of money. It took a long time to get Finding Dory, or from Finding Nemo to Finding Dory. You would think that would have come a lot faster, but I don't know. I'll be around if they want to give me a call.
Yeah, just do weasel voices.
If not, I'll be in the audience watching them because those are just good. They're good movies.
Do we want to run through some of the action figures?
Yeah, if we got time for that, real quick.
We'll do it real quick.
So,
yeah, obviously, we're huge toy collectors here at IGN. We put toys all over our desks. Our set every single week, which is different every time. We try to tailor it to our guests. We realized, Max and I have had this kind of running bet, like, which actor has been the most action figures?
Oh, not me.
And you've been a lot.
You're up
though.
there.
So we thought we'd run through some of the action figures that you've been throughout your illustrious career.
Okay.
Who do we start with?
Let's start with K2SO. We got
The
this one right here.
racist Ben Chapman from 42. That action figure.
There's 3 different ones here.
There's a ton of other ones.
Yeah,
too.
there's
lot
a
of these.
Funko Pop, there's a Lego, there's this giant one here. I had this one on the right, and his foot broke off, which we've now illustrated by putting our faces in front of it.
Right.
Next, we've got.
You were the rooster that keeps eating rocks in Moana.
Yeah. Heihei.
Heihei. Yeah. And there's like a bunch of Heihei toys out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of toys. Yeah, he's a lot of plushy things and.
This is the same character. This looks like very.
Oh no. Yeah, he was cocky.
Okay.
But he was like he was a badass, and then
And then he got addicted to painkillers.
Yep. And it fried his brain, and he became the dumbest one. They couldn't make it work. They couldn't make him work, and so then they like made him stupid, and suddenly it worked. And so they're like, then call Alan Tudyk.
Yep.
He's at the stupid level that we can bring him in, because I was not at all.
Do you have any of these
involved in the
toys? Like, do
cocking.
you get toys of yourself, or are you kind of over it at this point?
I had one of those. I gave it away. I have one K2 in my house.
Okay.
And I have one from Firefly, and it's these terrible little action figures. Don't look like anybody. The Kaylee one looks like she's wearing a diaper.
Here.
Yeah, we have a picture.
We have the Firefly ones.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh no, that one's good.
that
Those
one's
are good.
good.
Those are great.
Is there another one that's
There's one that is such. They made it. He can't have pink eyes.
weird?
It's
Are you
like
sick?
some like knockoff. They have our pictures on the box, but they had to make our. Oh wait, is that the one? Do I have pink eyes on that one?
You have,
So
yeah,
there's
and
another
pink
retro one.
eyebrows, I think.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that was the crappy one.
Also, I think they just reused Conan O'Brien's head for the one in the middle.
Yeah, that's it.
The one on the left really does look
And
like you.
with the eyes of Voldemort or something, the black eyes.
Now,
know.
obviously, King Candy and Wreck-It Ralph, one of my favorites, and my child bride's favorite.
Those are
Stop saying it. It's awful.
I gotta stop saying that.
Yeah.
These are great.
Yeah.
This one's actually, I think it's like a Disneyland exclusive or something. It's like I fell down this weird wormhole of just different toys based on you.
Yep.
And then we've
the
got
car. The car's hard
the
to
car
get.
one.
Yeah.
It's like a special like Parks exclusive, I think.
It's crappy.
Yeah, I don't know.
We've got
It is. It's like really small. It feels like what.
Happy Meal toy, basically.
Yeah, it feels like a Happy Meal toy.
and then Duke Weaselton.
Yeah, we've got these.
Wesselton.
We've got Wesselton and Weaselton here.
Yeah.
Wesselton. I didn't know they made a thing of him.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was like the most boring. Like I want the old man. He comes with a diaper.
I
Somebody-
think
yeah.
they merchandise Frozen so hard that they're like, we even got to make this guy. I like this
I wish he
bag
has
that he comes in.
toupee.
Is that with his bootleg movies
I
in
think
there?
that's the Night Howlers in there.
Yeah, the Night Howler.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then finally, this one I think is just really exceptionally weird. There's no iRobot action figure I could find, but there is the special collector's edition
Head.
where you can shove a bunch of discs in your head.
Yeah. You can keep anything in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really, like
all kinds of stuff.
potpourri. You know,
Put
if
the
you've
Alan
got-
Tudyk movie collection in
Yeah,
there.
I keep jams in mine.
I love the
nice.
idea of your kitchen
cheese.
just being full of these, just all kinds of ingredients, just a spoonful of sugar.
The hood ornament of my car. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really keep a lot of them. I feel like I get all these great drawings They give you a drawing when you do a Disney movie from the artist, and it's a pencil drawing.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really great, and I have them all hung in the smallest hallway from my laundry room to this sort of storage room, because I feel like, you put that stuff up,
Yeah, that's
you're
awesome.
like, look at me!
Yeah, that's rad.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool to have you on here. You've been a robot. You've been a bunch of cartoon animals. You've been a bunch of action figures. So it seems like a pretty good fit for our particular weird off-brand.
I wish they did the
children's show.
The Ben Chapman racist character from 42.
We'll get
I
him
think
in
that
there.
would be like if you, and then just, I can't say any of those. I wouldn't say, but he said them. Maybe he has like a tobacco chewing thing.
Wonderful. Well, Alan, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you do.
I've been wanting to do something since I sat down.
This is great.
There you go.
If you want more Alan, there we go. Oh!
That I just wanted to
Yes, that is on brand. Totally. If you want to see more of that, Rogue One is out digitally March 24th and on Blu-ray April 4th. He hurts a lot of Star Wars characters in that film. He's gonna crash a U-wing. He's doing it.
There was that scene.
We're doing it. Yeah!
Practical effects, they're back.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Ooh.
And we're back to this live show. That last part was not live. Some of you were in the comments in the chat on Twitch and YouTube, and I was trying to answer some questions. Brian was just doing some shrine stuff in his old.
High Nox. It was dark. It was loud. Zelda's really great, you guys. I'm like 100 hours in. I can't stop.
Anyway, Alan Tudyk was also really great. That was a
awesome.
super fun interview. Really cool guy. I love that we were like, he's like a big name, and I don't know, we were like expecting, like, is he gonna be like really clammed up about like Disney stuff, and he drops the F-bomb, so that was cool. If you missed any part of that interview, we obviously are gonna break that out as a recording on its own. You can also, I think you can like rewind this on YouTube or something. I don't know how the internet works.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Disney for sending him over.
Seriously,
Awesome.
send over the rest of everybody in Star Wars.
Check out Rogue One. It's out digitally tomorrow, and a week later on Blu-ray, DVD, DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah, DVD and
good old
Blue
boys.
Raymond. So I'm actually, I'm probably going to hold out for the physical release. I feel like with Star Wars, it feels more right for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't buy Force Awakens on Blu-ray because like that needs to be part of a trilogy. I need a box.
Yeah.
But Rogue One's like, unless they make Rogue 2 and 3, I think it's kind of in its own little segment there. But I did notice something really funny on the cover of the Rogue One Blu-ray. I think you actually noticed it first, but your jokes sometimes get caught in the ether and then they come to me much later.
It's fine.
Let's take a look at this. So we got the Rogue One cover. It's just it's a nice box art. It's pretty, and it's got your usual thing. It's got all the guys up there. Can we pull this up here, please? Do we have it?
It broke.
Did it break?
It broke.
Did we screw up?
You can
Here
imagine. Oh, that was a great transition.
There it is. Rogue One Blu-ray, beautiful thing. It's all holographic. They got like a really little Death Stars on there. But if you look there, there's a box quote. It says triumphant.
Yeah.
What?
Right on K2SO's belly.
Is there a way to like zoom in on that or enhance that? That's kind of funny. Triumphant is like an odd word. You think they would be like a great Star Wars film or something. So it says triumphant from the Empire.
Hooked us.
The joke is the Empire wins. You should know that because this is a prequel to a movie that came out 40 years ago.
I can't believe they put that on there.
I think that's really funny. Like, there's no way that like Disney marketing didn't see that and go like, unless we caught it and they didn't, in which case, you should hire us to look at all your Star Wars DVD covers because we're great at it.
That's a short job. That's like a maybe an afternoon tops. Can we
Yeah,
look
I
at
feel
all
like-
your
I feel
Star
like
Wars
you could-
DVD
you could
covers?
pad it
There's been,
out.
What, 9 of them?
Like you just carry
Eight of
around
them?
like a folder full of papers. I got a lot of stuff to take care of. Sorry, and it's like you just look at a DVD cover once every 2 years. Anyway, on the subject of Rogue One, if you've seen it, you know that the one runaway breakthrough performance,
Hands down.
aside from K2SO,
Far and away.
obviously, is Bistan.
Bistan, the number one.
Bistan, number one character. If you haven't seen Rogue One, you're in for a huge treat because Bistan is a key player.
Yeah.
I think he got totally snubbed for the Oscar. If you don't know who we're talking about Bistan. That's Bistan.
There he is. Now, you might have been watching this movie and about halfway through said, hey, what's up with that 900-year-old howler monkey shooting stuff and screaming?
Yeah.
I don't understand this thing at all. When does this movie take place? Where's the ball droid? And who does J.J. Abrams play?
Exactly. But the good news is you can finally get a beautiful Bistan minibus. This is from Gentle Giant. They've been making Star Wars minibus for like 15 years at this point.
Yep.
They clearly have gone to just great lengths to really capture Bistan's just really leading man performance prowess there. I think that's real actual hair coming out of his face.
That's from a real proboscis monkey.
If we just turn a little bit here, oh yeah, we can take a look. Look at that duck's ass. Look at that weird little mullet he's got going on. That funky comb over. But yeah, this is great if you want to try to track down a nice commemorative Bistan bust. You can. This is coming out. Yeah. Bistanbul, not Constantinople. This is coming out later this year. $120. Weirdly enough, I don't think we have a Bistan action figure yet, but whatever. Gentle Giant's doing their thing. Cool thing is, if you also get to Jyn Erso, you can reenact the famous scene where they had that really important talk. She's like, I think I need to see other people with less crazy eyebrows.
You know what else?
Sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen the film.
You know what else you can make them do?
See it.
If you get them both, you can make them kiss.
You can. We couldn't show that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually a stipulation with having Alan Tudyk on the show, is that if he's on the show, you can't have a picture of Bus kissing.
Here's a great thing to do with your $120 Bistan bust. Hide it behind your front door, right at the mail slot. And so when the mailman comes, he throws up.
Yeah, because you're like, wow, that's a weird, sickly dog.
Yeah. What kind of pet does this man have? And then you can get like a Halloween sound effect CD of like growling animals and stuff. Just really scare them off.
I love that we go from being like, hey, so we have a man who is actually in Star Wars Rogue One and a bunch of other movies. We're going to talk to him about stuff. He's going to tell us cool behind the scenes stuff. And then we're like, yeah, that's way too high budget. Can we make fun of some JPEGs for 10 minutes? Yeah, I actually really want that bus now. So last night, shifting gears entirely here, we got to go check out an early screening of Power Rangers, the movie.
Yeah.
And we've been covering this for a while on IGN. We've been like, I think we did like
specifically on this show. Yeah.
We talked about how their marketing is bad because we cannot see the Zords yet. We want to see them. We put up a change.org petition about how put Bulk and Skull in the movie, otherwise we won't see it, which apparently somebody saw because they were like, what if we just let you come to the movie on a Wednesday night for free? And we were like, I think we can, yeah.
It's a pretty Bulk and Skull thing to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've been covering this a lot, and I think it's been interesting sort of to watch the trajectory of where this went. Because let's be honest here, we never really got a great Power Rangers movie because the source material is kind of hokey.
We got a Turbo Power Rangers movie.
Yeah, so the show obviously spliced together between footage made here in America and footage made overseas back in the day. A lot of us grew up like sort of with this kind of like nostalgia for it and a love for this thing. I didn't know which way this movie was going to go. If it was going to be like overly dark and stupid, if it was going to be stupidly campy. I mean, if the CG would be bad.
I think the tone a lot of people were getting from this was that they were almost taking like sort of a Twilight angle, like a kind of like, oh, these are moody teens.
Yes.
If you got that vibe from this, check yourself because this movie's hilarious.
Yeah. So Let's get into it.
Without any spoilers or anything.
Any spoilers,
this is just kind of our like impromptu. We saw a movie last night. We're excited. Review.
Yeah. So we really like this movie. I will say that this movie is sort of. I think it does what Michael Bay's Transformers movie did the first time, but better. And I think it does what Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles movie did, but better. I know he didn't directly make that one.
Yeah, key thing with the Transformers series is I think that he was sort of kind of paying homage to the original Transformers stuff, but the original Transformers stuff is like way more like seriously thought out. Like there's the old Marvel Comics, there's an existing Transformers movie. That was like a much more like kind of less campy show. Like Power Rangers has always been kind of silly. It always had like cartoony stuff going on, even though it was live action. With Ninja Turtles, again, something kind of goofy, but still he like Michael Bay'd the hell out of it. I feel like this was as close to like, this was what Transformers 1 did really well, but this does it almost even better. I went in with like less kind of expectations because Power Rangers has always been pretty silly. This pokes so much fun at itself, but also isn't like crapping on Power Rangers. Like they are still like relishing the fact that they're like, hey, we get to be Power Rangers, but they're also being like, why are you a talking wall?
That's such a good way of putting it. I think it's completely self-aware at how ridiculous the source material is, while still being like really like just heartfelt and kind of goofy and endearing. This movie, spoilers, we talk about reviews a lot on this. We talk about Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. This movie has a 43% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It
sucks. But let me tell you the difference between this movie and other sort of like superhero comic book movies that we've seen in the last few years. This one is fun. Like, I look at something like Suicide Squad, which I think tried to be fun but failed. Batman vs Superman, which was this sort of like wet, soggy sock.
Yeah.
And this movie, I think, just has a really good time. The leads in this movie are really, really well done. They're just really likable kids. Even the ones you don't like, you come around to. There's a sort of weird crossing between. They go like, here's the Putty Patrol, here's Rudy Repulsa, here's Goldar. How are we going to handle those characters in a movie that kind of feels like Chronicle meets Transformers?
Yeah.
And I think they nailed that pretty well with the perfect balance between kind of ridiculous and kind of really exciting. And
I think they really bit off as much as they could chew, and they delivered on it. Also, it makes me mad that movie critics saw this and were like, I don't know how you can walk out of this and give it a bad review, because what were you expecting? You got to go into this with expectations, being like, yes, this is a Power Rangers movie. How old are you? What do you want? Do you expect this to be completely grounded and fleshed out? Are you what are you looking for?
So here's what I liked about the screening you or I were in yesterday. There was a really great variety of people,
including some crying babies.
Yes, from crying babies to actual children who are clapping and cheering and laughing. And kids do this thing where adults laugh at a joke, and 30 seconds later they're like, ha, because they think they're supposed to do that. But there are also genuine laughing moments in the movie. You and I laughed out loud multiple times watching this.
Yeah, we
film.
were clapping at stupid parts because it's really fun.
To me, I described it as a dumbed down Breakfast Club with dinosaur robots, which I think is a kind of movie you have to watch every now and then. I don't adhere to that logic of movie going where people are just sometimes you have to shut off your brain and you don't have to expect the Academy Award winner. But not necessarily that with this, but I think that sometimes you have to go in to see a movie called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Right. You can leave your brain driving, but let a sense of humor ride shotgun a little bit. This is a movie where teenagers get in dinosaur-shaped robots and have a good time doing it.
I think kids are really gonna like this movie.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna have a good time watching it.
If you have a weird kind of nostalgic, post-ironic appreciation for Power Rangers and all of its goofiness, go see this movie. It's a stupid treat. It's fun. It's honestly it's not even as stupid as it should be. I think they get ahead of some parts where you're gonna be sitting there with your arms crossed, being and they make the joke before you can.
Yeah, and it's really odd. It's going up against Chips this weekend, which we had Dax Shepard and Michael Pena on the show recently, and there's something that both of these movies are doing pretty well, which is taking this kind of goofy old subject matter, rebooting it for a modern audience to varying degrees of success. And neither of them are movie of the year. I mean, none of them are getting phenomenal reviews, but I had a really good time watching both of them because I think they both have a lot of heart, a lot of humor, and they kind of get to where they need to get to without stepping on too many toes.
Yeah, it also just seemed like the people making them had a good time, so that's cool. But I mean, if you're on the fence about it, don't see it. It's okay. You don't have to. But if you want to see the Breakfast Club get in the dinosaur robots, you can do that, and it's a great time. Anyway, speaking of movies and superheroes and whatnot and the crap we talk about on this show, there are a bunch of rumors flying around that Michael Shannon is in the kind of lead billing for playing Cable in Deadpool 2. They're kind of starting to cast that and get people together. And we started thinking oh, Michael Shannon, what's he just done recently? Everyone here knows him as General Zod from Man of Steel. And, there he is. So if he shows up in Cable and Deadpool or Deadpool 2 or whatever they end up calling it, that'll be one of the many people who's jumped ship from DC to Marvel or vice versa. So we figured just for the hell of it, we'd run through some of the other people who've done that. If he winds up in Deadpool 2, it would not surprise me one bit if they poke some fun at that, because they've already done that in Deadpool, because Ryan Reynolds was also Green Lantern. And that's not the only person who's done that kind of thing. Ben Affleck, of course, went the other direction, starting out as Daredevil, winding up as Batman. I think he was also a contender for Superman at one point.
Yeah, so this is all specifically people who've done DC and Marvel movies.
Yeah.
They've jumped ship, if you will.
Honestly, I don't
Or jump back and forth. I don't think it matters.
I don't think there's really a message here. I don't think it's one of them offers better things to better actors. I also like the difference between where superhero movies were at when Daredevil came out versus now. I mean, look at Michael Keaton, for instance. He was Batman back in 1989, and then Batman Returns in 92, and now he's the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming, but between that, he was playing this weird, almost hybrid of the two.
Yeah, I love
Birdman.
that.
So he's kind of all over the place in terms of wearing capes and flying and stuff. Then, of course, Halle Berry was Storm and also Catwoman. I feel like this kind of goes in almost the same category as the kind of the Ben Affleck, Batman
The Batman Daredevil,
like
totally, because it's
yeah.
like them walking away going like, all right, I'm never doing another comic book movie again, and then something cool comes along.
Dump truck full of money.
Here we go.
I feel like Daredevil and Catwoman very much go in the same category of like, we don't know what we're doing, but let's try it anyway. Speaking of X-Men, James Marsden was, of course, Cyclops in all the Bryan Singer X-Men movies, or most of them, or whatever. Bryan Singer bailed on X-Men 3 to go direct Superman Returns, and I think James Marsden, well, I guess he stuck around kind of, but he showed up in Superman Returns as well, playing Richard White, who was the guy who was, I think, trying to marry Lois Lane or whatever.
Yep.
Then, of course, speaking of newspaper people, you've got, was it Perry White in the DCEU?
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne, who I didn't realize this until we were doing the research for this list, but he also played the Silver Surfer with the help of a little thing we call computers.
Yeah, he played the voice of the Silver Surfer, because
Yeah.
I think this movie came out around the time where he was also playing a very heavy dude in the movie Predators, who was
Yeah.
like living in a cabin eating old worms and being
Was that
crazy.
him or was that Forrest Whitaker?
No.
I get them mixed up.
You get Forrest Whitaker's character in Rogue One confused because they're both like,
There we go.
boogly."
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of guys who run newspapers in fictional superhero universes, J.K. Simmons, of course, J. Jonah Jameson in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. I really wish Sony was giving him his own Jameson movie. That'd be awesome. He is jumping over to the DCU to play Commissioner Gordon. There's that photo floating around of him just flexing and having a huge beard, the biceps. But here's a photo that Zack Snyder put out on his personal Twitter or Instagram or whatever. Of Commissioner Gordon. You can sort of tell that that's
Great.
him, maybe. Who knows? Then, of course, you might not have guessed this because of two reasons. One, like probably collectively 20 hours of makeup time, or the fact that I don't know how to say this man's name. It's Adewale Akinnuye
Agbaje. Yeah.
Yeah,
he did
so
pretty good there.
he's played Curse in Thor 2, which I really enjoyed but don't remember one bit. And then he played Killer Croc in Suicide Squad, which I wish I could forget. Speaking of heavy duty makeup and lots of it, Josh Brolin played Jonah Hex, and then he's playing Thanos.
He got purple.
Yeah, I think
Otherwise, it's pretty much the same dude.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to forget that Jonah Hex is a DC movie. I think they're not really going to try to bring him in anytime soon because that movie really bombed, and also it's a cowboy, which doesn't really fit the whole Justice League thing.
I think he'll be in Justice League.
You think so? Jonah Hex going to show up?
I think he will, because
All
they
right,
don't
well,
care.
hopefully his old nemesis Michael Fassbender doesn't show up. He played Burke in Jonah Hex, and of course he's Magneto in the more recent X-Men movies. Then, of course, Tao Okamoto played Mariko Yoshida in The Wolverine, who's a key character, and then played Mercy Graves in DCU on the left there. That was Lex Luthor's secretary who got exploded. Spoilers. I think they probably forgot that she was in the movie at this point.
At least he didn't make her drink pee like that other lady.
True. Then, of course, Tommy Lee Jones, he was Two-Face back in the day, back in Batman Forever. I forgot this. He was Chester Phillips in Captain America First Avenger. Apparently, he hated being in Batman Forever and has, crapped all over that.
I was going to say his character on the right looks like he's watching his character on the left in Batman Forever.
Yeah.
With great disappointment. He's like, I made that movie.
This looks like a weird reboot of things just went horribly different and awry.
90s, man. It was the 90s.
And then, of course, it wouldn't be the proper list if we didn't mention the fact that The Losers, which is technically a DC movie, has not only Chris Evans, Idris Elba, and Zoe Saldana, who all went on to play pretty big roles in the MCU. You know, Captain America and what's her face? I'm drawing a blank.
Green lady.
The Green Woman.
Yep.
And Idris Elba's the guy who gives Thor the pep talks in that telescope they hang out in.
Mr. Helmet, they call him.
I don't know.
Fell
But
apart by the end there.
I think
but
it's crazy.
we really did good otherwise, right?
It's hard to remember all these real people's and fake people's names.
Sound off in the comments below about
think
how
we-
much we botched up that last
We
part.
also totally forgot some of them. There's more of them out there. It gets even weirder when you start factoring in stuff like Vertigo Comics, like V for Vendetta or Watchmen.
Who
Anyway,
is it? Zathura?
Gamora.
Oh.
She played
Gamora.
Zathura,
She played Zathura.
the titular Space Jumanji board game.
Yeah, she was also the Zohan.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Hey, so Brian.
Yeah?
I got some really good news.
All right.
So
Hit me with it.
you're kind of a foodie, right? Like you like to go out to restaurants and try a lot of stuff.
I do. I cook a lot.
So
I love a good meal.
I have some fantastic news for you.
Great.
They announced the menu for the Pandora World of Avatar Cafe restaurant at Disney World Orlando, Florida Resort. That's right. They are opening
What?
up a place called Satuli Canteen, which is going to be part of the world of Pandora at Avatar Land, what it's being called by people who like to, name things together.
Wait. We're doing a news story on the food that they're selling at Avatar.
No. This
Land?
is not a news story. This is Up at Noon. This is a variety show about all kinds of stuff. I want to tell you a little bit about the kind of food they're going to be serving at the Satuli Canteen.
No one's going to eat there.
A lot of people are going to eat there because it's food like in the movie Avatar.
Why did you
This
just
is
transition
called-
to this plate
this-
of garbage?
This is called a sustainable fish bowl. I believe this is breaded tilapia served over a bed of vegetables.
What?
And if you look there on the right, they have a sliced kind of green salad, which has boba balls. Those are tapioca balls on top.
That's disgusting.
So it's like something you would eat in the world of Pandora.
No, you wouldn't.
From the Avatar film.
No one would eat in that world. This is the stupidest thing
Now,
we've ever
I know
done
you're
on the
on
show.
the edge of your seat,
I'm
waiting
not.
to go see Avatar 2 whenever it comes out, when James Cameron's finished making the next 8 sequels.
No.
But great news, because there's all kinds of other foods you can try at Pandora, World of Avatar, such as this vegetable steamed curry pod.
That looks terrible.
Now, you think,
I'm glad we're blocking the
look at
grossest
this-
part of that picture.
No, I think we need to show that.
Can you move us real quick?
Please show the...
Hold on, I want to
yeah.
show people what's in there. That's disgusting. That
That's
looks
not-
horrible.
No, you're being judgmental.
No, that
of-
looks like-
you're
that looks like a
you
Halloween
need to-
pumpkin.
you need to be open-minded about the world of
What
Avatar.
are those? Some like terracotta chips they threw on the side? Like
Those are different types
What's
of-
with this?
of
Did they lose a
chips.
bet with these boba balls to put on everything?
I think they got a lot of them probably.
They're
But
not even in the movie,
So
these
they got the
balls.
steamed curry pods. These are also available as steamed cheeseburger pods. You can get a little cheeseburger dumpling there, and you can also have some of the green salad with the tapioca balls. But that's not all. They also have slow roasted sliced grilled
Again with the
meatballs.
balls? Get the balls out of here!
I think it's very exciting. But guess what?
What is this,
Here,
chopped? You gotta use the balls on every dish?
Will you slow down about this? That's just a small sampling of the other stuff they have on the menu. They also have blue cheesecake, like the Na'vi
with
would
balls
make.
on 'em?
And maybe if you're feeling frisky, like I know I'll be at the Pandora, the world of Avatar.
After eating all those balls.
They're also opening a bar.
A ball bar.
There is a bar. It's not a ball bar.
It's
a
full of
regular.
balls.
It's a regular bar. They have a variety of alcoholic adult beverages on the menu,
with balls in them.
and it's called the Pongu Pongu Lounge.
That's the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
It means party party in the language of the Na'vi.
It means
Pongu
cold, tall cup of
welcomes
balls.
weary travelers to try the bioluminescent frozen cocktail. They got glow-in-the-dark cocktails.
Indigenous
They
beers.
have a variety of different lagers and stouts from the world of Pandora.
What? Who is this
They have,
for?
It's for people like me. who
You
want
have brain damage.
I want to get lost in the world of Pandora.
You're not enough to sustain an entire theme park.
Indigenous beers.
No one
and
cares.
a sustainable fishbowl.
Max, this is like making a theme park out of Rebecca Black's Friday.
No, it's not.
This is a thing we cared about for an afternoon of 5 years ago. And
It is
no
the
one talks
it is
about
the
anymore.
best movie ever made. Everyone saw
Avatar?
it. Avatar is the best
Avatar
movie.
is not a top 10,000
I can't
film.
wait to go to Pandora, World of Avatar, and enjoy a nice drink at the Pongu Pongu Lounge.
I hope you ate all the balls there. Choke. And then they have to resuscitate you.
Seriously, I'm so
You
excited
spit all
about
the
this.
balls out.
I'm more excited about this than I am about Star Wars at Disneyland.
I almost cursed. Are you kidding me?
I'm more excited because
I'm gonna
that's
walk
the-
off this show.
I'm
What
an
are you
ex-
talking about?
I'm a Star Wars expert. I'm a certifiable Star Wars expert. I'm familiar with that world. I've been to that world inside my own brain.
You've never been to that world.
I've been pretty much there. I mean, I'm going to go to both of them. But that's the thing. The Mos Eisley Cantina, we went to that at Star Wars Celebration 2014. But the world of Pandora, I have not been to.
You're more excited about Pandora Town
I cannot
than
wait
you
to
are
try
Star Wars
the
World?
tapioca luminescent drinks.
I'm finding a new co-host. Greg, come
You
back.
Don't even start with that.
Greg, come back.
Damn it.
Greg.
All right. I love talking about Avatar with you. It's so
I
much
hate.
fun.
It's
It's so much fun.
Look, I'll be totally honest with you. That is a bad movie.
it's not a
It's
bad
a
movie.
bad movie.
Great movie. They got blue cats that go in that tree and
No,
make
but
love.
dude, like, who is that for? No one even remembers that movie.
They gotta fight the man with a big knife and a robot suit. Anyway, here is a story for this show we've been kicking down the road for weeks on end. I don't know why we keep not getting to it, but we put it in the open of the show, so we're going to talk about it.
Yep.
We are both madly in love with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, much like everybody else out there right now. Probably mostly for the Prince Sidon, that sexual fish man. Nintendo's weird with their merchandising. They're very strange. I think they've been very kind of coy. Like, you can get cool action figures. They've got the World of Nintendo line from Jakks Pacific. But when it comes to construction sets, they're kind of all over the place. They made kind of famously, not Mario Kart Lego sets, but Mario Kart Kinects.
Yeah.
Which are kind of like, okay, Kinects. That's
So-
not even bricks.
These are
Kinects
really
is like
odd. I
pigs.
just got sent one of the Bowser ones the other day, and they're sort of like segmented into weird parts so that you can put them together, but for no reason. It's very arbitrary.
Let's be realistic here. Like Lego is the best construction set. Like everyone says that's a Lego.
Yes.
Like Mega Bloks is a knockoff Lego. Connects didn't even start with bricks. Everyone is always trying to achieve what Lego has achieved. And I don't know why two of the most successful children's companies in history, Nintendo and Lego, can't just sort it out and make stuff that will just make it generations upon generations happy.
Especially because we've gotten a Lego Minecraft, or I mean, we've gotten Lego Minecraft, we've got Nintendo Minecraft, but all those things are so close they've never actually crossed over.
And then of course we've got Pokemon Mega Bloks that are coming out later this year, which I just feel it's like almost, and of course. The last one that makes so much sense because it is like a weird fusion of castles and pirates and weird magic and vaguely Ninjago. Why don't we get Nintendo Lego Zelda sets? Yep. I don't know. There are tons of people who've started designing these. There's of course the ideas.lego.com website, which is basically like a Kickstarter where you pitch designs for Lego stuff to Lego. And we've gotten stuff like the Ghostbusters car, and we've gotten just really neat stuff that people have designed. There's a ton of stuff on there of Zelda, a handful of Metroid things. This one's great. Like this guy clearly thought it out.
He did a great job with the slimes, the way the sort of water curls up around the side of the Wind Waker Islands, doing the boats and everything. Like this is a cool little set.
Yeah,
and like we see little sets like this for Star Wars all the time, where they're like $15-20. Like you got that Boba Fett one in the in the chamber. Like,
and what's cool about the people who work on this site is they're fans, and they're like, hey, like I just want this thing to exist, and Lego's like, well, we'll take a look at it. And the people who are really good at it, they budget the piece count. So it's like this isn't just a 7,000 piece like Hyrule Castle. They're like, hey, this only requires you to create a handful of new pieces. Like this is mostly done with existing Lego set pieces, which is kind of how that should work. This guy is just the best. This guy killed it.
Oh, he went and did the box.
He did the box art and stuff. If you look closely,
that's based on Ocarina of Time.
Yeah,
style,
this is called Iron Knuckle Encounter, I think, and it's like he went to all the trouble doing this, and like they got back to him, like it got like 10,000 votes back in like 2014, and they're basically like, there's a bunch of reasons we reviewed it, we can't, and I think that the thing they can't say is that Nintendo doesn't want to work with us for whatever F-word reason, but like, dude, come on. Like, I will throw money. Like, just shut up and take our money. Why are you making Pokemon Mega Bloks and Mario Kart Connect? Call up, like, Lego, Nintendo, just sort it out. Kiss and make up whatever the issue is.
I love the gold key here. I love the rupees here. Can you go back 2 images real quick? I just want to show that this is a little playset that actually opens up to reveal the treasure chest in the back. Like, it's dynamic. It's really smart.
It looks like a Lego set of a castle I would buy as a kid, but it's got, like, Zelda stuff, a game that I would play as a kid. So, like, maybe Breath of the Wild success and Nintendo just, like, maybe this will be the thing that makes them realize that, but, like, also, if you go into the Nintendo World Store in New York City, they've got like a whole section for Lego Dimensions.
Yeah.
And it's like they clearly have some kind of existing relationship. Do you know what? You can't just get Nintendo Lego sets and it makes you so angry.
Do you know what? It is literally diagonal from the Nintendo World Store. The Lego store. It's crazy. Like, just walk across the street and kiss. I don't know how business works, I think that's how you do it.
I don't think any of the people who work in those stores are actually representatives of those companies.
That's how business deals happen. You walk across the street, you do a hot kiss, you walk back in, money everywhere.
I'm just bummed about that. Like, that'd be so cool to get like a Guardian Lego set, little Technic guy.
I know. Someday.
Yeah. So we're getting, what time is it? What do we got here?
We're good.
So we got plenty of time to talk about some stuff. We talked about Lawrence Fishburne earlier in this program, like we do.
I want to do a quick shout out. If you're watching the show, hop on Twitter, use the hashtag #UpAtNoon. It's all one word. We'll get to some of your questions by the end of the show. Gabriel Indriago says, how do you call Max Scoville a friend after he said he is more excited for Avatar than Star Wars? I don't know, man. I'm rethinking everything.
Here's a key thing. They haven't revealed the cocktail list for Star Wars World.
Yeah, it's all gonna be blue.
No, it's not. It's gonna be all kinds of different colors. If they're like, hey, you can get a large carafe with a live frog in it, like Jabba the Hutt, I'd be like, get out of the way, Avatar. I'm going to Star Wars land. But the reality is, I haven't actually been to either. I haven't been to any Disney theme park. Like I have like a weird, just an odd broken childhood like that. So,
Max, let's talk about the Matrix. Another thing that
That's stuff that Brian Altano never says.
Yeah, I'll talk about the Matrix with you. I don't know if we're gonna have a great conversation about it, but I will.
Okay.
I'm one of the weird people that actually likes the second Matrix movie more than the first, and definitely more than the third. I think if you like the third one the best, something is wrong with you a little bit. But the original Matrix, obviously, I respect everything it did for the action film and sci-fi film genres. The sort of bullet time effect, the billions of cameras in a circle.
Which then got reused
everywhere. Like its
incessantly.
impact on film is undeniable. Its impact in the 90s and sort of capping off what like kind of weird web culture was like back then is undeniable.
It's totally a zeitgeist. I feel like the art direction in 2 was, it ages better. Like there's a lot of kind of just excessively sort of hot topic goth stuff going on in the first one that they managed to kind of dodge a little bit in 2. 3 was just all over. I love these guys. Those weird
now
white Rasta ghosts.
We got an interesting story recently we covered on IGN about how there might be some plans to reboot the Matrix franchise, which makes sense. I understand it.
Yeah, sure.
It's, everything gets rebooted. Nothing is original anymore. This one would be a prequel to the original series, or at least a prequel story for Morpheus, which is odd because a prequel story for Morpheus is basically just possibly a fatter dude with dirtier clothes in a grimier living area, reading less websites.
Also, what makes that less interesting is that the whole thing about the Matrix is that it's like, it's Neo's like rise to being the one.
Yes.
Like it's, he's got all those cool powers, and like Morpheus is like, yeah, I had trouble jumping over that building. So you're what? You're scaling it back? Like prequels are just fundamentally kind of sucky because of that. You're like, take this thing that's really big, and then we can't outdo it because that would screw up the continuity. So either we screw up the continuity, Star Wars, or we do something weird and sort of watered down?
Or add unnecessary backstory to something, like I think they did with Prometheus, like I think they did with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre where he's in high school.
Yeah.
And you're like, Leatherface was a mean boy. But the idea of learning more about Morpheus is sort of interesting. It's the kind of thing you would do in like a web comic or something.
Sure.
But to
Which
make
I think they did it in the Animatrix.
Of
or
course,
something,
yeah. But the idea of like throwing out an entire movie out there with showing us what he was like in middle school or something is completely unnecessary to me. What's even more interesting is they want to get Michael B. Jordan. He's sort of like the first pick, the first choice for the lead role as Morpheus. So I'm totally okay with that. I don't really care about moving races around when it comes to recasting and stuff. I'm more concerned about exactly where this takes place story-wise.
Right.
I'd rather just they did a brand new thing.
Just do something new. Just
Yeah.
take a look at what the internet's come a long way since the Matrix came out. We're all carrying around cell phones. You don't get somebody FedExing you a random cell phone. You'd be like, that's shady as hell. I'm not opening that. Like, there's stuff that we're so used to and so accustomed to now that's kind of far beyond the reach of the imagination of the original Matrix movies because it's, how society works. I'd love to see something that just completely just throws the original Matrix out the window and takes an entirely different direction while still keeping that core concept.
You name dropped the Animatrix, which I think is a very important tenet for this conversation right here, because that showed that you could take the core idea of what the Matrix is and apply it to completely different universes, completely different time zones and cities and places and people. You can constrict it to just like a fighting scene in a house, or you can move it to a Japanese town.
Yeah, or it's like some kids found a weird glitch in the Matrix and they're just like poking at it with a stick.
There's so. I mean, to me, the Matrix was kind of. It did, before Black Mirror, it did the Twilight Zone, where there was like rifts and there were areas where you could see through to a different universe. And that, to me, is the core idea that should be explored here.
I mean, what's crazy is that like when the Matrix came out, the idea of like jacking into a construct, like that whole, the term the Matrix, like cyberspace, was kind of it was something that people were like, I don't know if the general public understands it. It's 1999. Most people don't have AOL yet,
Yep.
Now it's like, you have to pay extra to get a refrigerator that doesn't have an RSS feed. Like, it's ridiculous. So like, the landscape, the public cultural understanding is all over the place. I mean, it's funny, we're getting a live action Ghost in the Shell movie right now, which the Matrix borrowed from heavily.
Yeah.
It was borrowing from the works of like William Gibson and Ghost in the Shell, and like when when the Matrix came out, also anime hadn't blown up. Like, it was still this weirdly cult thing. So it seems really odd to be like, we're rebooting this thing that introduced a lot of stuff, but we're going backwards and we're also tying it to the originals. It's like, maybe just try something new. What's the future? Science fiction should be speculative, not just reiterative.
Also, the Matrix is bigger than Morpheus, it's bigger than Neo, it's bigger than all of these characters. I think that they were integral to it in the 90s when they were telling the story originally, but create an entire new set of characters. Like, let people revisit the Matrix, right? Like, bring that universe back. Bring back the games. Make like cool AR apps. Like, there's so much cool stuff that you could do now. Imagine like an iPhone app tied into the Matrix where you held it up and you could see that world. Yeah. Like, there's so much opportunity there, but instead they're like,
or what about
Neo and Morpheus?
What about like a Snapchat filter where it has you're wearing sunglasses, but there's no arms on them; they're just clipped to your nose.
Yep. Whoa. So I don't know. Like, I mean, as we evidenced earlier in the show, we spent many months being like, I don't know about this Power Rangers reboot, and they nailed it, at least in our eyes. So I'm completely open to them doing something new and cool with the Matrix. But right now, I'm going to throw some shade their way because I'm not really crazy about the ideas getting kicked around so far.
Or here's a really, really crazy one. What if you take something, right? You take something and you reboot it and you tie it into the original and you figure out a way to make this totally interesting angle on this thing, and then you change the name and you make it a totally new concept.
No. You mean make a new thing?
No, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
No, why would you ever do that? Who would go see a new thing?
Why would anyone see a new thing?
Why would you see a thing that's not based on a thing?
You got to see a thing that's already been an old thing.
Yeah.
Can't go see a new thing. It's got to be a thing that's been working before, then stopped working, then has to work again, then breaks, then gets fixed, gets reworked, worked out again, and now it's new, but old. But not new enough to scare you because you need it to be old. Because we're dumb.
That's right. Yes.
I wanted to talk about Mighty Number 9 real quick.
Okay.
I hate to do that to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I was going to take a short nap over here.
I know. I wanted to throw out a quick PSA. I feel genuinely terrible for the people who kickstarted this game, and not the ones that got it, because it didn't turn out to be as good as they wanted it to be. It didn't turn out to be the art direction that they were promised when they originally bought it. I'm talking about the people that kickstarted the handheld versions of this game, the 3DS and Vita versions of this game, that still don't have this thing. So I don't know if this is Concept, who was the company behind it, who haven't updated their website in like a year to even talk about this, or the publishing company, which I believe is less involved. So just a quick PSA, when you go to kickstart something, when you go to crowdfund something, be careful. Be cautiously optimistic about this. I see a lot of things, a lot of tiers, $100, $200. You know, you and I have been on Kickstarter and Patreon with our own shows.
There's more than one type of backer tier.
Yeah.
There's the different levels, and there's also the ones that come out of your eyes when you don't get your Vita Mighty Number 9.
Oh, that was good. That was
Thanks.
So sweet.
No, I think that there's a misconception about what Kickstarter is. A lot of people see it as either like a weird QVC or like a pre-order site, but the reality is like sometimes you're not backing a winning horse.
No.
You know, there are people also who, backed the Oculus, and that was a huge, massively successful thing. And they were like, yeah, my money's doing its part. And then Oculus got bought by Facebook, and people were like, do I get $1 billion too?
Right.
Like, where does my money go?
I also think it's kind of like when you go grocery shopping when you're hungry versus when you go when you're full. Like, these guys got their money already, and it doesn't feel like they're in any need to, like, cook anymore. Like, they've eaten. Like, they got the cash. Like, KJ Inafune, who like I grew up respecting, I've interviewed, he's been on the previous version of this show, really love that guy's work. Like, Mega Man was one of my favorite games of all time. We are now like years after the Kickstarter, and we're looking at a situation where people haven't gotten their physical rewards, 3DS and Vita owners haven't gotten their rewards, and those games haven't been moved to new platforms, like say Bloodstained from
the Castlevania
Igarashi. Yooka-Laylee, which got moved from Wii U to Switch. We're seeing that happen a lot, and those guys have been very awesome with sort of communicating that messaging. These guys at Mighty Number 9 have gone radio silent. So careful who you back. If you sent them money and you haven't gotten anything, kick and scream and send emails because you deserve what you paid for. And yeah, just a quick PSA, like, be careful with Kickstarter. I know it's a great idea and it's gotten some great games out there. Watch your wallet when it comes to stuff like Shenmue. Watch your wallet when it comes to everything else you see coming down the pipeline. Yeah. Be careful because you might get burned.
Mm-hmm. Buy stuff on eBay because it never goes wrong. Never a bad idea.
David Joseph Wesley says, I'll totally go to the Avatar Land Cafe with Max Scoville and grab some Giovanni Paninis.
I love a Giovanni Panini.
That is...
Is that a Giovanni Ribisi joke about him being in the movie?
Was he in that movie?
I think, he was like the bad... Do I know who that man is?
Oh, wait, do you not remember a person in that movie? Because it's
I'm trying to remember if that's the name of the actor.
Because your brain pooped it out?
I forget who Giovanni Ribisi is, all right?
I know who he is. He's on a show now called Lucky Pete. Crazy.
Yeah, he's the bad guy who plays mini golf and gets Sigourney Weaver mad at him.
He's in that movie?
He's in that movie.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, unbelievable. Anyway, that was Up at Noon. Thank you, Alan Tudyk. Thank you, Max.
Thank you, James Cameron, for making Avatar.
Don't do it.
The movie.
Nope.
And the world.
And the food with
Of
balls
Pandora.
on it. Let's see. Coming up later today at 3 p.m., we're putting up a brand new episode of Linked Together. That's me and Zach Ryan's new show, where we each play Zelda Breath of the Wild holding one Joy-Con each. It's utter chaos. I think this is probably our funniest, best episode. Because, spoilers, we bank shot that show. So the first few episodes were sort of just us figuring it out.
Yeah.
But now we're playing it after each of us has put like 75 hours into the game. So we're better, you would think. And it actually gets way worse than that. So keep watching that. We put up a brand new episode of Podcast Beyond this week, what you should totally check out. It's on iTunes,
Yeah, we had
Stitcher, everything
Miranda
else.
Sanchez join us to talk about Mass Effect Andromeda and
Yep.
kissing.
And kissing.
What you do in that game.
Anything else we want to plug? What else is going on?
Yeah, I mean, if you like the crap we do here, check out our podcast, The Comedy Button. It's
Yeah.
comedybutton.com.
Hell yeah.
And follow us both on Twitter. I'm Max Scoville. He's Agent Bizzle. And yeah, if you missed any part of the show, this is a really fun episode. We got to talk about Avatar, The Matrix, all this stuff that Brian loves, Brian's favorite movies, The Matrix and Avatar.
Favorite
It's
movies.
so funny. I love talking about stuff that you don't like with you. It's the best.
Yeah, it's great,
Anyway.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching Up at Noon, and we will see you 1 week from today. We have some great ideas for next week's episode. But
No
can
idea
you
what we're
wait?
doing next week.
I do.
What are we doing?
Oh, we're gonna get Goldfarb to talk about Persona High School versus his actual high school experience.
Okay. News to me.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
The end.
Hey guys, it's Brian and Max, and today we've got Seb from Snake Pass.
Hello.
Which is just a wonderful sentence to say. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks
Very
for coming
nice to be
through.
here.
So tell me about Snake Pass. We're actually going to jump in and play some levels today. This is a brand